As your workflows in EasyMorph become more complex, one set of actions you are likely going to need are the conditional actions. There are two main types of conditional actions in EasyMorph, skipping and halting. And as you might expect, the main difference is what happens if the condition is met. Skipping actions skip all following actions in the table they are placed, whilst halt actions stop the execution of the entire workflow. Let's take a look at both so we can see how simple they are to implement and what the differences are. So let's first add a skip action to our workflow. As always, I'll click on Add Action. I'll search for skip, and I can see there are two skip actions available to me. Skip actions on condition and skip on condition in another table. First, let's add skip action on condition to our workflow. I'll drag it into my workflow, my table 1, and place it in between the existing actions. And the main option available to me for this action is what condition to apply. The first option is if the table is empty. Second, if the table is not empty. Thirdly, if a specific condition that I can define is true for every row in the table, or if the specific condition I define is true for any row in the table. Let's pick the last one and define a simple condition. I will say, if not, is number. I'll pick my first column, which I expect to always be numerical. Click OK and apply that. And we can see currently column 1 is always numerical. So the action doesn't skip any further actions in that table. Let's go and change my data, make something not numerical, and then we'll be able to see the effect. So I'll make row 5 an A, apply that, and we can see the icons have changed. The skip action icon has changed to indicate that it is now skipping, and all subsequent icons have got a little skip icon added to them as well to indicate they are now being skipped. We can see that it only skips the actions in the table it's placed. It's not skipping any actions in the additional table that's derived from it. So let's take a look at the other skip action available to us. I'll remove the action we added from our workflow. As before, I'll click on Add Action. I will search for skip. This time I'll pick skip on condition in another table. I can see that the options available are very similar. I have all the same options available for what condition to apply. The main difference is that I can pick which table to apply the condition to. And I can pick any other table available to me in this module. I'll pick my table. As before, I can set a condition. Click OK. And apply. My condition is applied, despite the fact that column has an entry for A. We're now not looking at this table's result. We're looking at my table in my second group. So why would I want to skip some actions in a workflow? Well, maybe I could skip any actions that are unnecessary if the table is empty or not empty. This could make my workflow more efficient. Or maybe I'm performing an incremental load of data and I need to skip loading in the historic data under some circumstances, such as to perform a full data load overnight. Let's now take a look at the halt actions. I'll remove the skip action we added. This time I'll add action and instead I'll search for halt. And again, I can see there are two different halt actions available to me. Halt on a data type mismatch and halt warn on condition. I'll start with the second one because it's very similar to the skip actions. I'll drag it in and insert it into my table. You can see that I have very similar options for what condition to apply. The main differences are I can decide on a mode. Do I want to halt the execution of the workflow, or do I just want to warn and continue? If I want to warn or halt, I have the option of adding an error message. So let's add it to our workflow with a similar setup as before. Now this time we can see that instead of skipping the actions in the first table, we've actually halted the execution at that point, and none of the actions in either the table it's placed or any subsequent tables derived from it will be executed. So lastly, let's add our final conditional action. Again, I'll remove the one we added. Add action. I'll search again for halt, and this time I'll add halt on data type mismatch. As I can see, the options for this action are quite different, but it's relatively straightforward. Firstly, I can decide if I want to apply a data type that's desired or not desired. I'll pick not desired. I can pick what data type. In this case, I do not want. I'll leave it as text, but I also have number, date, Boolean, or error available. I can decide if empty values are okay or not. And I can decide if I want to comply the condition to the entire table or to a particular column. I'll pick column again and apply it. Now, as I can see, the halt has happened and no subsequent actions either in the table it's placed in or my other tables are now calculated. So why would I want to halt my workflow? Well, I might want to check for data quality after loading from a data source and stop my workflow if it contains issues that my workflow might not be able to handle. Or even more importantly, to stop erroneous data from propagating downstream to other EasyMorph projects, databases, or data visualization tools. So hopefully that's given you a basic understanding of conditional actions and how they might be useful in your workflows. If you have any questions, as always, you can head to the EasyMorph help. The simplest way is by clicking on the More link in the action you want help with. Or alternatively, head over to the EasyMorph community and ask your question there.